Hey there. Glad to have you back at Echoes. You might have noticed something different. After all these faceless stories, we decided to experiment and see how it feels to tell the story face to face. Almost all the Echo stories have been told right here in this studio. And this next one, it's a good one. So let's get into it. An explosion. Another plank from his wooden barkentine had snapped. He was in the ice of Antarctica. It's 1911. No cell phones, no chance of calling for help. And 27 people on board could do nothing but try to survive in this frozen trap, over 1,000 kilometers away from the nearest living soul. This is the true story of Sir Ernest Shackleton and his expedition aboard the Endurance ship. In 2022, Endurance was found sunken in the icy waters of the Weddell Sea, with no bodies on board. Could the crew have survived in Antarctica? And at what cost? Before we jump in, viewer discretion is advised. It was a historic moment for humanity, and a complete failure for Sir Ernest Henry Shackleton. On December 14, 1911, the Norwegian Roald Amundsen became the first person to reach the South Pole, taking Shackleton's place. Just a few years earlier, he had been on his second Antarctic expedition, and at that time, he came within a record-breaking 180 kilometers of the pole. He had also become the first in history to summit Mount Erebus, a volcano. However, none of that mattered after Amundsen's triumph. Shackleton knew his peers would mock him, so he decided to go down in history another way, by becoming the first to cross Antarctica on foot. The plan was to land near the Vassal Bay, then trek to the pole, continuing to the Beardmore Glacier, and finish on Ross Island. The total distance would be 2,900 kilometers. That's a quarter of the Earth's diameter. Even with modern trekking routes and U.S. roads, such a journey would take about a month. Yet in 1913, when Shackleton set out, it seemed pure madness, especially in Antarctica. In reality, though, the starting point of the Imperial Trans-Antarctic Expedition, as Shackleton called it, was South Georgia. No, it's not an American state. It's a forgotten, God-forsaken piece of land on the other end of the map. From there, it's another 2,500 kilometers by sea to the Vassal Bay. And when you add the walking route, that's already half the length of the Earth's equator. I'm not sure if you can even wrap your mind around distances like that. Definitely not in my wildest dreams. Especially on the wooden barkentine Endurance, powered by a steam engine. The truth is, Shackleton was a legend, and his incredible undertaking captured the public's imagination. Wealthy patrons quickly pledged their money to fund the expedition. On December 5th, 1914, Endurance, with 28 people on board, set sail from the shores of South Georgia. Also on board were 69 dogs for the future sled teams, and a cat named Mrs. Chippy, who turned out to be a male. Among the important gear, the team had a pair of motorized sleds, 3 lifeboats, and several tents, as they planned to set up a base on the shore. In fact, the expedition was supposed to consist of 2 ships. The steam yacht Aurora, carrying supplies, was supposed to depart from the Australian island of Tasmania, and essentially meet Endurance's crew at the final point of their route. But that was still a long way off, as the expedition's journey had only just begun. Shackleton's surprise was immense when they collided with pack ice just 2 days after leaving South Georgia. These are massive ice floes, ranging from 20 to 100 meters wide and at least 3 meters thick, tightly packed together and drifting. The pack ice belt always surrounds Antarctica, yet Shackleton never expected to encounter it so soon. Nevertheless, Endurance managed to successfully navigate through the ice for over a month. Then, on the 45th day of the expedition, with only 48 kilometers left to the shores of Antarctica, the ship got stuck. A powerful storm had packed the ice so tightly that Endurance couldn't move forward or backward. The entire crew made titanic efforts, chopping, breaking, and sawing the ice around the ship with anything they could get their hands on. Yet, it was all in vain. Endurance was literally trapped in the vice-like grip of the drifting ice. Shackleton needed more than a month of contemplation and observation before he could make the terrible and fateful decision to prepare for a winter trapped aboard the ship. It was the 82nd day of the expedition. Snow shelters were built for the dogs right on the ice, and the ship itself was converted into a kind of dormitory for the crew. Shackleton knew of a similar experience from another expedition and hoped that, like them, Endurance would be able to break free from the ice once the season changed. But he had no idea how terribly wrong he was. The crew tried to adjust to their new life. They set up their routines and found ways to entertain themselves, playing with the puppies and taking the dogs for walks. Many of them started writing in their own journals. Frank Hurley, on top of everything, was documenting the crew's life with his camera. Shackleton made sure the crew did regular exercises to stay in shape. And, from time to time, he'd send them out for a walk under the moonlight. Sounds nice, right? But here's the thing. All of this was in the middle of an icy wasteland with temperatures around minus 20 degrees and no hope of rescue. Shackleton surprisingly kept a positive attitude, but the days turned into weeks, then months, and the ice still wouldn't let them go. What's worse, the pressure from the ice on Endurance's hull became so intense that the ship's planks began to crack one by one with a deafening sound, like the blast of a cannon. Endurance's crew found themselves stuck in their own version of Groundhog Day, where supplies ran low, hope faded, and the ship was carried farther and farther from the longed-for shore. And so, they spent 8 months like this. Spring passed, summer came and went, and as autumn neared its end, the inevitable happened. Endurance started sinking. On October 27th, on the 327th day of the ill-fated expedition, Shackleton ordered the ship to be abandoned. In minus 26-degree temperatures, the crew quickly began moving everything necessary into 2 small lifeboats. They could only take the essentials: food, fuel, clothing, tents. Out of 550 photos, they selected just 120. They couldn't carry more because the negatives were made of glass and were too heavy. One of the toughest decisions for the crew, though, was what to do with the puppies and Mrs. Chippy. They were too weak to survive on their own, and the crew could no longer care for them. Now, everybody lived in a camp directly on the drifting ice, next to what was left of Endurance. At first, Shackleton decided they would head toward land. Reality, though, proved otherwise. The icy terrain, snow-covered and rigid, was nearly impassable. The crew managed to travel just over 3 kilometers in 3 days. At that rate, it would take them months to reach land, so Shackleton ordered all supplies to be gathered again and the camp to be set up on the ice. But now, the crew's situation was far worse than in previous months. Everyone was exhausted. Some were losing hope of ever being rescued, and their food supplies were running out. Hunger already pushed everyone to the brink of rebellion. The first thing to suffer from malnutrition is the mind. People become irritable and anxious or fall into depressive states. Their concentration and cognitive functions deteriorate. A few days later, weakness sets in. The heart beats faster, breathing becomes shallow, digestion slows, and vision begins to fail. After a few more days, the body starts to consume its own muscles, and physical labor becomes an overwhelming challenge. Then, immunity drops, wounds heal poorly, and infections spread rapidly. And within a month or two, depending on individual factors, death follows. For Endurance's crew, though, the outlook was even worse, as they were also plagued by constant cold. Shackleton knew that their chances of survival were diminishing with each passing day. 2 months after the crew had settled on the ice, they tried to move again. By then, the snow had melted, and they sank knee-deep into the wet sludge, soaking their feet and risking frostbite. Some even started to rebel. From that point on, attempts to walk were abandoned for good. And by now, it was unlikely that anyone could physically endure such a trek. Hunger was intensifying, and everyone was growing weaker. They took the 3rd lifeboat from the wreck of Endurance and managed to find a few more supplies. They also added seal meat to their diet. However, even that wasn't enough. Soon, the shortage became so critical that Shackleton gave the terrible order to get rid of all the dogs. They were consuming too much seal meat. What happened to them next? Well, I won't go into that. It seemed like there was no hope left. When suddenly on April 7th, snowy peaks appeared on the horizon. These were the shores of Clarence and Elephant Islands, which meant the crew had been carried 1,900 kilometers away from the planned landing site of the expedition. While the crew debated what to do, fate made the decision for them. 2 days later, the ice floe their camp was on split in 2. Hastily gathering their belongings into 3 lifeboats, the 28 exhausted yet still living crew members faced a new challenge: the ocean. Now, ice spray was constantly hitting them, and the boats rocked so violently that some couldn't even rise from seasickness. Meanwhile, someone had to keep bailing out the boats, or they would sink. After just a few hours, almost the entire crew was on the brink of madness. Somehow they found the strength to row toward the shore. Still, that was far from all. The crew is now facing a deadly danger from the relentless waves that soaked their clothing. Hypothermia was now trying to kill them. When a person's body temperature drops to 35 degrees Celsius, intense shivering occurs. Blood pressure rises, and the heart starts pounding. At 32 degrees Celsius, consciousness begins to blur, and reflexes and fine motor skills are reduced, or completely lost. If the temperature drops to 28 degrees Celsius, or lower, hallucinations begin. Pulmonary edema can develop, and a state of complete stupor sets in. After that, a person just blacks out and dies. How long do you think the unfortunate crew could endure such hell after 494 days trapped in Antarctica? They rode for 6 days until, on April 15th, after several attempts, they finally reached the shores of Elephant Island. Insanely exhausted, yet all safe and sound. It was the 498th day since they set out on their journey. However, on the island, they were greeted by nothing but a bleak, snow-covered rock. The only improvement was that they could dry off and warm up. Still, they had no hope of rescue. The nearest place where they could definitely find people and ask for help was South Georgia, where the expedition had started. The only problem was the roughly 1,300 kilometers of perilous ocean between them. After settling in and recovering from their ordeal, Shackleton began preparing for the next challenge. Just 9 days later, with 5 crew members, he took one of the lifeboats and set off for South Georgia. It was sheer insanity, and the ocean only decreased their chances of survival with every passing minute. The constantly frozen and soaked 6 members bailed water from the boat and chipped away at the ice on the sails. Yet their worst trial was the waves. A 9-point storm had kicked up, pushing 30-meter-high waves at speeds of over 80 kilometers per hour. The tiny wooden lifeboat creaked at the seams, and the only possible outcome of this journey seemed to be death. After several days of such hell, Shackleton, miraculously still alive and conscious, gazed at the sky when suddenly he realized this was it. A massive tidal wave, which seemed to take over the entire horizon, slammed into the lifeboat. If I saw what happened next in a movie, I'd criticize it for being too unbelievable. Meanwhile, this actually happened. The crew led by Shackleton not only survived, but also reached the shores of South Georgia. It took them 17 days. Now, imagine how unbearable the pain was when they realized they had landed on the opposite side of the island. None of them had the strength to even think about moving forward. The crew found a small cave and spent over a week there, in a half-conscious state, trying to rest. On May 19th, on the 532nd day of the ordeal faced by the Endurance's crew, 3 members who had reached South Georgia set out for the whaling station. The island's terrain was mountainous and covered with glaciers. Often, the chosen routes proved impassable, forcing Shackleton and his companions to turn back and find another way. In this manner, they covered 35 kilometers in 36 hours. It wasn't until they were spotted by the whaling station workers, shocked by the unimaginable appearance of the 3 strangers, that their journey came to an end. So, on the 534th day since the start of what was supposed to be an expedition, the physical trials for Shackleton and his 5 companions ended. Those who had stayed in the cave were also rescued the same day. It was symbolic that, unknowingly, they once again escaped death that day. During the night, a terrible blizzard struck the island, one that would have claimed their lives if they had still been on their way to the whaling station. Meanwhile, those remaining on Elephant Island continued to suffer from hunger and the cold. However, they didn't lose hope, and each morning they packed their things hoping that today would be the day Shackleton returned with the rescue boat. But there was a problem with that. The volunteer team set off for Elephant Island almost immediately. However, 97 kilometers from its shores, the ship was stopped by pack ice. Shackleton directed it to the Falkland Islands to request help there. By this time, news of the expedition's fate had reached Britain. Unfortunately, the only ship they could offer wouldn't be available until October. Everything else was taken due to World War I. For Shackleton, waiting that long was unacceptable, so he found support in Uruguay. There, they provided him with a small research vessel, which got so close to Elephant Island that it could be seen on the horizon. However, due to the ice, terrible weather conditions, and running out of fuel, it had to turn back. Spring passed, then half of the summer, before Shackleton finally managed to charter a ship from Argentina. It battled the stormy seas for 3 weeks, but also had to turn back. At the camp at Elephant Island, many had already lost hope, so no one expected to see a ship on the horizon. Yet, there it was. It was Yelcho, a Chilean steamship with a steel hull. On August 25th, the ship finally managed to dock at Elephant Island. Shackleton saw a smoke signal from the shore, so he knew that at least part of the crew had managed to survive. Yet what awaited him was a surprise. All 22 crew members, exhausted, feverishly thin, but alive, awaited him. It was the 630th day of the expedition, which had first turned into a catastrophe and then into a legendary survival story. The truth behind it, however, was that no one paid attention to the fact that Shackleton's second ship, Aurora, also became trapped in the Antarctic ice. It was stuck on the ice for over half a year, and 3 members of its crew lost their lives. So, Shackleton did go down in history, though not in the way he had hoped. In an attempt to redeem himself, he organized another expedition in 1922, but he had lost the confidence, strength, resilience, and positivity attributed to the miraculous survival and rescue of Endurance's crew. In a harbor in South Georgia, he peacefully passed away in his sleep from a heart attack. He was only 47 years old. On March 9th, 2022, it was announced that the most difficult search for a sunken ship in the world had been successful. After 100 years, 7 months, and 4 days since Sir Ernest Shackleton's passing, the remains of Endurance were found at the bottom of the Weddell Sea. It now stands as a monument at a depth of 3,008 meters, almost perfectly preserved as it was over a century ago. Even if this were a Hollywood movie, it's hard to imagine a more fitting ending to this legendary story.